Hi everybody, today we're going to be diagnosing and treating Monica Gallagher. For those of you who do not know, Monica Gallagher is a character in Shameless, and basically she's a mother of many children and married to Frank Gallagher, but decides to leave her family when her oldest is at a very young age and causes that oldest daughter to take care of the rest of the family. Monica struggles with many personality and behavioral problems and has a strong addiction to pills and alcohol. Some of Monica's personalities and behaviors are impulsivity, thrill-seeking, engaging in sensory pleasures, for example, more sexual activity, especially when it's with her husband, Frank Gallagher, or with other spouses, partakes in high-risk situations, excessive amounts of energy, but then on the flip side will have absolutely no energy, and when you try to remove her from her bed, she actually falls to the ground because she has no motivation inside of her. She talks with a rapid speech when she has this excessive amount of energy, and she's very jittery. She jumps from one thing to the other, and she can't really stay on one clear path. Like I said, she engages in substance abuse. She has changes in appetite, and has frequent thoughts of suicide. She actually has even attempted it at one point, and that's in the later seasons. So now I'm going to show you a few clips that I have that demonstrates these behaviors.
Okay, if you're not gonna eat, I want your teeth brushed in 2 minutes. Come on, wear this.
You Febreze it first?
Washed it last night. Why don't you go for a run? Got more chocolate chip cookies. Every buck counts, right? What's another batch? Peanut butter? Toffee?
Where's the tape? Can't find anything in this kitchen. When are we moving the furniture back?
Oh, Debbie! I love your poster. Who'd you get your artistic talent from? Who wants to sample a cookie?
Me. They're for the fundraiser. Blood sugar is dipping, trying to keep up with your mother. She's wearing me out.
All right, make copies, man.
Oh, I'll take him. Come on, you and me, Carl. We can take the new car. Can't get enough Carl and Mommy time. Do you need some new clothes? We can stop at J.C. Penney.
I can drive.
No. Do you have a license?
Buddy, you doing okay?
Do you hear me? I'm right here. I'm right here. Here.
Bailed Monica out of jail.
And then this is going to show the parts of her where she gets really depressed.
I thought it might be different this time.
You could have gotten Carl killed. You tried to get Ian into the army? You promised me. Get out of bed. Get out of bed, Mom!
So from this clip, I just kind of want you to take away the examples, like, for example, sorry, I just said example multiple times, how she's jumping from one thing to the next. She drops her pancakes and is still wearing her oven mitt when she decides to go with Carl out to the car. She lets Carl drive her car and wreck it. She's moving the furniture into the living room. She's cooking at night and all day and doing washes throughout the night. So I just want you to pay attention to those things and then pay attention to then how depressive she gets. So because of that, she meets criteria for bipolar 1 disorder, which means that she is a person who's experienced at least one episode of mania or hypomania, and tends to be, to be considered mania, the elevated, expansive, or irritable mood must at least be present for 1 week and be present for most of the day. To be considered hypomania, the mood must at least be there for 4 consecutive days and be present for most of the day every day. And during this period, 3 or more of the following symptoms must be present and represented as a significant change from her usual behavior. So from this, I would say that she definitely has an inflated self-esteem or grandiosity when she's in this hyper state. She thinks that she's the best ever, and she's honestly like a god, and so she can't be killed. So for example, she'll demonstrate more uses of drugs and alcohol when she's in this state, thinking that she's above the threshold, and she'll do things like driving as fast as she can in a car to feel that thrill. Decreased need for sleep. Again, when she's in this high state, she doesn't sleep. She cooks all night or does laundry all night or moves the furniture around. And she's increases in her speech and the way she moves. She has these racing thoughts that you see, and she's very distracted easily. She jumps from one idea to the next. And she engages in activities that hold the potential for painful consequences. For example, getting into their car with Carl and letting him drive and crashing it, possibly leading to both of them even dying. Again, I also think that she fits the criteria for major depressive disorder from the DSM-5. You need to have 5 and of these symptoms and experience them almost every day for 2 weeks. The first and second symptom have to be present. And again, I think this coincides with bipolar 1 a lot of the time, but when she's in this really bad state on the flip side of being very hyper, she definitely demonstrates major depressive disorder. She does have recurrent thoughts or suicide attempts. I mean, she did try to attempt it in the later season. She thinks that she is nothing. She says that she thinks she's a terrible parent, she's worthless, and there's really no point of her life at one point. She can't get out of her bed for very excessive amounts of time, for days even. She won't speak to anyone. She'll just turn around in the bed when someone tries to speak to her, and when someone tries to get her off the bed, she'll just fall to the floor, have to be carried. She has a loss in interest in her loved ones and the things that bring her pleasure. And she's just a completely different human when she gets into these states. I ruled out bipolar 2, schizophrenia, and cyclothymic disorder. The biggest reason for schizophrenia is because she's not having any delusions or hallucinations, so she's not having any false beliefs that lead to a perceptual experience. She's not necessarily hearing some other voice telling her to do something and act it out. It's rather she's having these negative beliefs about herself and getting really depressive, or she's feeling very excited and jittery, but she's never disconnected from herself. And then bipolar 2 and clythymatic disorder, I mostly ruled these 2 out just because it's saying that they're for major bipolar 2, the hypomania is shorter or less intense episodes, and I don't think that's happening at all with Monica. These symptoms will last for multiple weeks at a time, and it seems as though it's a continuous pattern. And then the cyclothymic disorder is a lesser version of bipolar 1 or 2, and again, like I said, this causes very big distress and impairment in her life, and it's definitely longer than 2 years, and they're very severe. This has been going on for multiple years of her life, and they're always at the most high level possible, and her life is always in danger when she gets into these depressive states. Treatment plan, I would recommend staying away from medications due to her addiction. I would like to consider lithium in the future, but that would be a long time after trying psychotherapy, specifically interpersonal, just because I'm worried about her addiction since it is so severe. The interpersonal would be used for the MDD part of her diagnosis, and then the psychotherapy would also be used for that, but specifically also to treat the bipolar 1. I do think that since she struggles with pill addiction, we should slowly take her off of all medications that she takes instead of going cold turkey. And I was thinking a lot about how to get her to want to agree to this, especially since it doesn't have to do with any kind of medication. I think it'd be important to stress that this could help her get back to being the mother she's always wanted, and if she takes these steps that she could finally get there, since she prioritizes her family. I mean, she did ditch them, but she always ends up coming back to them because she wants to be good enough, or she thinks she's healthy enough to be a mom. How Monica actually sees this help, she stops medication, she'll skip her medication, or she'll take it with heavy amounts of alcohol or drugs. She refuses therapy and inpatient treatment. For example, when she tries to commit suicide, she breaks out early through the help of her husband Frank and youngest daughter. I think poverty, unstable relationships, homelessness, and family problems led to her diagnosis. She had a very bad upbringing, and then that caused her to reach out to drugs and alcohol, and that caused her to be poor and homeless, and then that led to a terrible toxic relationship with her husband and bad relationship with her kids, because her kids ended up wanting nothing to do with her since she was so unstable. And then these all just led to her major depressive disorder and bipolar thoughts. my reflection on this assignment is basically, I think the hardest part of this is kind of finding ways to treat patients, especially when they have addiction problems, because of course you want to provide as much as you can for them, but I think trying to find what would get them to engage in the type of therapy is also very challenging and I think very goal-directed. For this assignment, I used the notes and the readings. So, thank you.